games are played, 25 goals scored, 3 red cards, and 5 penalties. That has been the story of the 22 Total Energy Africa Cup of Nations that is currently happening in Cameroon. My name is Washington Sibanda, aka Marasta. This is the second episode of the Siqalo Podcast. Prema Ndebele is joining me again this episode to share in detail about the results of the round one matches as well as the fixtures that we can look forward to. Ndebele, it's been a tournament full of surprises and another sad tale for the Zimbabwean Warriors being put out of the Africa Cup of Nations 2022 in Cameroon.
Thank you again, Mr. Washi, and a pleasant day to our viewers. It's such a gloomy result which we got yesterday. After we're thinking that we have it all, we managed to stage up a superb performance, especially playing with Senegal, managing to hold them all the way up to the 94th minute and losing it with that penalty. Yesterday, I strongly feel that we just gave it away. We just gave it away. We had it and we just had to let it slip. So it's such a gloomy result for the Zimbabwean family. And I believe everyone is not amused with that result because we knew our potential and we knew what we are supposed to go there and do. And the performance which we staged, especially on the second half and the lapse of concentration for those goals, it proved a thorn in the flesh.
School ball errors are costing the Warriors, and the Warriors losing 2 goals to one against the Malawi. Just to go through the results of the round one matches, we saw Cameroon kickstarting with that victory over Burkina Faso. Vincent Abubakar being the first player to score a brace in this Total Orange Africa Cup of Nations 2022. Cameroon starting so well, getting that victory against Burkina Faso.
Um, Usually, when we are such a tournament, we there is a lost start, and I believe Cameroon started on the back foot. But lucky for them and the home crowd, they managed to pull themselves up and get that victory. And Vincent Obubakar was so very pivotal, especially in that win, and I think he's leading his packs very well.
So Cameroon are getting that victory against Burkina Faso. And then you also saw Cape Verde beating Ethiopia. Obviously, Cape Verde is one of the sides that you tipped to surprise so many, getting that favorable result against Ethiopia.
Cape Verde, I'm still hoping and I'm still tipping them to even upset the third games because the way they play is like they play as a compact team and going forward they know what this tournament is all about. They play knowing that their goal is just to get in between those posts. So I believe if they just clinch another victory and upset with the Bukanabe, they will get there.
So that's the views from Graham Levele tipping Cape Verde to go all the way. Now moving into Group B, so much was expected from the Zimbabwean Warriors in that first match against Senegal. Just like what you alluded earlier on, the Warriors of Zimbabwe doing so well up until that penalty in the 94th minute. So many people are applauding the Warriors for that great performance. But for me, I feel like at the end of the day, it's the result that counts in the wedding.
Such tournaments, like I had said earlier on, it's all about the 3 points. It's not about how what performance you're gonna stage. You just have to grind the 3 points. The only positive is just getting something out of the tournament. So yes, I believe also our approach. We had a lot of respect, especially to the Senegalese. We respected the match, and we just had to defend deep. And especially during the in those last minutes when we conceded a penalty, it was such soccer is such a cruel game because you will do everything well and then just 1 minute cost you the entire game. And I believe we defended so very much, so very deep. To an extent that we had to crowd our own box and we had to concede that penalty. And taking in cognizance, the person who took that shot was all alone because he had to control and he had to see all of our midfielders. Most of our midfielders were inside the box and we were so very defending deeply. So I believe that cost us as well because offensively we were not a threat to the Senegalese. They were so relieved at the back; they could do whatever they want. So approach-wise, yes, we went into that game wanting a positive, which is a positive which we were hoping for was a draw, and we had managed to clinch that, but unfortunately, that 1 minute.
So near yet so far for the Zimbabwean Warriors are losing so cruelly to the Senegalese, losing that one by a goal to nil. And then you also saw Guinea beating Malawi by a goal to nil. Would you say it was surprising for you?
No, the Guinea versus Malawi game, it was forthcoming. We had Naby Keita running riot, and I believe he's at the best of his form lately, especially in this Africa Cup of Nations. So I was even tipping Guinea to go over Malawi.
Then moving on to Group C, we saw Morocco stunning Ghana. Ghana failing as well to have a good start at the Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon. Morocco getting that victory. Then you also saw Comoros losing by a goal to nil to Gabon.
Um, the Ghana game, Ghana hasn't been that good since the Golden Boys era of the Asamoah Gyan. They have been on the back track lately, and recently their FA has been hanging things pretty well. Like we have heard that they've calling for the uh, whole overhaul. They were calling for the overhaul, and especially for the players. So it's been such a shaky start, and I foresee even them struggling in on the third game. And Morocco, I think they held on that victory pretty well, and they managed to hold on to that 1-0 victory. And tactically, I think they did well, especially when they were even leading. They had to waste that time and do all those antics. So I think they handled it well, and they are going all the way through to the next round.
So the drought is bound to continue for the Black Stars of Ghana, losing that one by a goal to nil to Morocco. And then moving on to the interesting group, that is Group D, we saw the Super Eagles of Nigeria are getting that famous victory against the Pharaohs of Egypt. Nowhere to be seen was Mohamed Salah and Kelly Nacho getting that brilliant goal, a contender for the goal of the tournament so far.
Nigeria is a bit compact compared to Egypt, and the way we are anticipating that Mohamed Salah comes to the party and does one or two things, but it's all about teamwork. If your team is not clicking pretty well, it will be hard even for an individual player to step up. And considering that Mohamed Salah is one of the best we have now in Africa, and most of the teams are targeting. They know how he plays. They know how to mark him. And the only way to stop his attack is just to get rid of the supplier, of which I believe the Nigerians did pretty well, and they outclassed them.
So Nigeria getting that victory against the Pharaohs of Egypt, Ikele Najo, with that brilliant goal in the second half. And then we also saw Sudan and Guinea-Bissau playing to a goalless draw in that same group. Moving on to Group E, a surprising result for many. The defending champions, Algeria, being held to a goalless draw by Sierra Leone. Would you say Sierra Leone played all out? They showed so much confidence against the defending champions.
I'm sure they showed a great character, especially thumbs up to the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper just kept them in play. He made crucial saves, and they just clung in there and made sure that nothing goes behind him. So I think they played as a team. They just staged one of the best performances, especially against the favorites of the tournament. And they had to frustrate the Algerians either way, because they were trying so very hard, but they just kept compact up until they got that one result.
So Algeria will be looking to bounce back to winning ways in the second match in that group. We also saw Alex Gradella leading Ivory Coast to that 1-0 victory over Equatorial Guinea. And then the last of the group, Tunisia Mali. Lot of controversy in that match. Tunisia going on to lose that one by a goal to nil. Of course, we'll look at that later on. Tunisia not starting so well. Mali getting that victory, but a lot of controversy. Ndebele.
Um, that further spoiled the entire party, especially the referee. I think it wasn't handled pretty well, but thumbs up to the winners. They managed to at least contain and didn't even use that the referee scenarios, and I think it was just misfortunate for the Malians. But the referee, I think that will be one of the momishes of the tournament, because as of now, I'm still bewildered as to what really transpired. How on earth can someone do the same mistake twice, apart from the red card here?
The first of its kind, the Zambian referee making all the headlines in that match between Tunisia and Mali. Then we also saw Mauritania losing by a goal to nil to Gambia. Then moving on to the round two matches, we saw Cameroon coming on fire. Vincent Abubakar again leading the Cameroonians, beating Ethiopia by 4 goals to 1, and Ethiopia becoming the first team to be booted out of the 2022 Africa Cup of Nations. Cameroon showing their intents, they want to go for the big one. Would you say they are probably one of your favorites now?
I'll still say they are still falling short to being my favorites. Yes, they did manage to, they showed a lot of character, especially when they were trailing. The way they shifted that gear to get that equalizer, I think it shows what they really want and what they are made of. And probably if in this next round they manage to keep up the gear, well, I might say they can go all the way. But as long as they keep it lower than that, it will be a bit difficult. But again, the pivotal man being Obubakar, I think he was so very much influential in that game. And the experience now coming to effect, the way he's pushing those guys, and that Bayern Munich guy, Kambu, I think they are clicking pretty well. Now Cameroon going forward, it's all about him. He's making things tick. So I believe if they keep up that gear and maintain that high tempo, they're going to go all the way, because physically they are a threat, and aerial they are a threat again. So I will say African football, they are so balanced.
So Cameroon are doing so, and Vincent Abubakar already sitting on 4 goals. And for interest sake, Cameroon haven't lost in Yaoundé in 33 years. So they are yet to test the defeat. They'll want to continue their playing their last match at the Olembe Stadium, that is also in Yaoundé. And if they do progress, they'll play their next round of 16 match at Olembe Stadium in Yaoundé. Then I will also saw Burkina Faso beating Cape Verde there. Burkina Faso bouncing back to winning ways, now sitting on 3 points. Cape Verde failing to continue with that momentum that all helped them to beat Ethiopia. An interesting group if we're looking at the standings now. Cape Verde and Burkina Faso going into the last round of matches, looking at getting favorable results so that they progress into the next round.
It's such an interesting group, that one, especially. But I'm still tipping Cape Verde. I would say, because going into that group, I believe the Cameroonians are going to probably rest some of their players, because for me, I think they are already through. And I believe that the intensity which we've seen them playing against Ethiopia is not going to be the same playing against the Cape Verde. But now the thing is, the this other nation, um,
Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso, I believe it's going to come strong on Ethiopia, and it's up to the Ethiopians whether they want to take a point home, or they just have to throw in the towel. But the way they are playing, they played pretty well, especially in their first lose. The way they move the ball, the confidence, and at times they go up high. But now the main thing, which was their downfall, especially on their game against Cameroon, they just had to lower that gear, especially coming to the second half, and that gave plenty of room to Cameroon. And when they are coming back to this game again, if they do the same mistake, I'm sure they're gonna go home empty-handed.
So we wait to see who is going to go through in that group, and really, that is Grazo already tipping Cameroon to go through, but he's also saying that Cape Verde they're going to take that other spot. Moving on to Group B, we saw Senegal playing to a goalless draw against Guinea. Favorable result for the Zimbabwean Warriors, who were going to play Malawi later on, and for the Zimbabwean Warriors, not so good, Grazo. 2 goals to 1. We score first. Ishmael Wati with a brilliant header, but some schoolboy blunders allowing Malawi to come back and get those famous 3 points. And for the Zimbabwean Warriors, it's the end of the road.
It's such a gloomy result for us all. It's one game which we thought we had control on, but I think nothing beats experience. We saw how Kabatino Mango ran riot and ran rampage on the entire Warriors, and we failed to step up again. Our very own, I think. The blunders which we had, they costed us dearly, especially defensive wise, and even offensive. We had a lot of missed chances. We did manage to create chances, especially in the first half, but we didn't take them. And in such tournaments, um, you get such opportunities. You don't take them. You rule those chances. So it's so sad, especially how we approached our game. It's so very much sad. We're looking for a positive, the West being a draw, but now we just have to be playing the dead rubber when it comes to the third games.
So now for the Warriors, way to Ndebele, we have lost to Malawi, we've lost to Senegal, and already we are out. What's in for us in the last match against the Guinea?
I think in the last match we just have to give the other guys who haven't played opportunity to showcase themselves. But it's a pity now because they just have to play without a meaning. Like they just have to take this game and do it for themselves because already on the log it won't change anything. So I will say let those young players who haven't played get there and showcase, and probably they might catch an eye or two. But basically, there is nothing to play for in this match.
So a tale of missed chances in that match between the Zimbabwe Warriors against the Flames of Malawi. The Zimbabwe Warriors losing that one by 2 goals to 1, and they kissed goodbye to the Africa Cup of Nations. They'll be playing their last match against Guinea, which is a dead rubber. So wait to see whether Senegal, Malawi, or Guinea, which of those three teams is going to progress into the next round. Then you also saw Gabon holding the Black Stars 1-0 yesterday. Ghana scoring first. We saw a red card as well in that match, but Gabon coming back to equalize and get that famous point. For the Black Stars of Ghana, it's not looking good, and they are likely to be knocked out in the first round. And
I think Gabon showed a lot of character heading towards that game. Ghana failing again to hold on to that 1 point, and it really costed them dearly because now they just have to qualify mathematically. If they win their game, probably going as runners up and so. But it's a bit tricky because they might as well fail to get there. And like I had said, with the Ghana FA and everything which is happening in the Ghana camp, it's not a huge surprise to me when such things happen and such results emerge.
So Ghana, one of the favorites, one of the big teams in Africa, failing to do justice, only collecting a point in their two matches, and going into the last round of matches, they need nothing but short of a win, and hopefully that the other teams they're going to do them a favor. Then looking at then Morocco also beating Comoros by 2 goals to 0 in the same group, and for sure Morocco they are through to the next round. Gazo.
I think it was an easy run for Morocco. They managed their game well and they knew what they had. The very much important game for them was the first one, which they managed to clinch it perfectly. And this one going on, I think they are gathering momentum bit by bit, and we are most likely to see them even as the stages progress.
At the fixtures for that we can look upon. We've got Nigeria that is going to be playing Sudan. Then we're going to have Egypt versus Guinea-Bissau. Obviously, Egypt will be looking back, looking at bouncing back to winning ways against Guinea-Bissau. And obviously, Nigeria, whom so many are tipping as favorites, will be looking to seal their spot in the last round of 16 against the Sudan. What's your take there, Brad?
Nigeria can go all the way. I think they've started pretty well, and if they maintain, they can go. But the mountain now is on the Egyptians because the Egyptians still has to come to party. They haven't come to party as of yet, and they know what they need and they know what they want. So they just have to pull themselves up, and probably get the maximum points, which is going to work for them.
So it's going to be interesting to see how the Super Eagles of Nigeria are going to fare against Sudan. And we also wait to see whether Mohamed Salah is going to get his first goal in the Total Energy Africa Cup of Nations 2022, which is currently happening in Cameroon in that match against Guinea-Bissau. Then now moving on to Group E, the defending champions Algeria, starting with that draw against Sierra Leone. They will be facing Equatorial Guinea in the second round match. Then we're also going to have Ivory Coast playing Sierra Leone. What can you expect from these matches, Brad?
From the Ivory Coast match, I'm still awaiting a couple of players to come into party, and if they do, especially Hola, the Ajax Amsterdam guy, if he brings up the form which he has in the UEFA Champions League, he can spearhead that attack and probably get an easy, comfortable victory towards those games.
Then talk of Algeria. What do they need to do against the Equatorial Guinea? Obviously, sitting at 1 point, it's not safe. They really need to get those maximum points in that match.
The Algerians definitely need maximum points in order for them to secure the spot. But it's a tricky encounter, like coming from a draw. Yes, it's a bit of a positive, but the pressure mounts on them because they are the defending, and they know that they have to stage a result favorable to them, and which will take them all the way up. But it's not an easy road. They just have to remain compact and remain focused towards their goal.
So Algeria, the defending champions of the Africa Cup of Nations, are looking to bounce back to winning ways. Then looking at the last group, we are going to have Tunisia playing Mauritania. Then Mali are going to play Gambia. Tunisia, obviously, they are still fuming about the first match against Malawi. Going to this match against Mauritania, who lost in the first match. What can we expect from Tunisia?
They just have to stay focused. At times, such scenarios they do happen in soccer, and we just have to sweep them under the bridge. It's just water under the bridge. They focus on the coming games, and if they stay and remain focused, Mauritania is not so that a strong team, and I believe if they keep their strategies up and they remain focused all the way, they can have an easy walk. But like I said, it's not just an easy road, especially with these African teams. Because the fact that they are already there, it means that they had a path which they took. So they just have to stay focused and make sure that whatsoever they stage is a splendid and favorable performance towards them.
So quite interesting. They're quite interesting results from the first round of matches and also in the second round of matches. We're expecting fireworks, but it has been a tournament that has been shy of goals. Grazo, just looking at the statistics of the 18 games that have been played so far, we've seen 25 goals. Obviously, Vincent Abubakar, the Cameroon captain, leading the front there with those 4 goals. Already is the top goal scorer, and the top goal scorer for the last tournament scored 5 goals. That is Ido Nagalo. Do you see Vincent Abubakar rather surpassing those 5 goals and scoring as many goals in this tournament since he started this well?
It's a matter of how far they will go. It's a matter of how far they will go. I believe he's that caliber who can score goals and who can score for fun. Because the role which he plays, like linking his forwards and all, I think he's so very pivotal in that team, and he knows that every goal that he scores is of great impact, especially towards them going all the way. And I still say that we're going to surpass the last edition scores because looking at the first round didn't give us a lot of goals. We saw a lot of 1-0s, especially most of them only from the sport kicks. But I believe like the first games are usually the difficult games, especially in tournaments, because there is a lot of respect which each team will be giving to each other, and most of the teams will be holding back, trying to see how other teams are playing and how can they crack them. But now going into second games, I think Cameroon proved it pretty well. They saw what is needed and they implemented what is needed, hence getting all those 4 goals. So I'm looking at an improved goal rate, especially coming to the second games, because even the Zimbabwe game managed to produce 3 goals. So I think we're bit by bit going up.
indeed, we're bit by bit going up. So of the 18 games that have been played so far, 10 of those matches are finishing 1-0. So we are goal shy. Our strikers not as banging in those goals in this AFCON, and also the big names yet to come into the party. The likes of Sadio Mane, your Mohamed Salahs, the players that have been doing so well at club level, are not doing so well. Will do what will do attribute that to Ndebele?
Um, I will say, especially for the players who have been active, there is another aspect which can hinder them probably to have tired feet, if I may call it so, because those guys have been playing year in year out. They never had a break. After the corona thing here in Africa, most of the teams we stopped playing, and them they've been playing and they've been running like I don't know. So the demands which they have abroad and coming back home, it's difficult for us to ask them for such performances. Yes, we are anticipating that they stage such performances, but it will take extra energies because it's all about energy. These are the African soccer. It's all about energy. You run, you run, you run. So them having ran all those miles and coming here again, staging the same performance, it's a mountain to climb. It's a mountain to climb. But I think if they complement each other like as a team, I think it will make it easy. But if we single out a person and I will say that he's going to carry the day out, it's going to be hard. We're going to cry foul at the end of the day.
So wait to see whether your big name players, the likes of Sadio Mane and the likes of Mohamed Salah, are going to come into the party. So already confirmed that three teams are already out of the 22 Africa Cup of Nations that is currently happening in Cameroon. The Zimbabwe Warriors being one of those teams, being joined by Ethiopia and Comoros. So sad indeed for the Zimbabwean Warriors. So much was expected going into this tournament. When the group was done, so many people tipping the Warriors to qualify for the first time, but it was not to be. And then Ndebele, moving on into some controversy, as I had alluded earlier on, the Zambian referee making all the headlines. First of all, he blows to end the match after 85 minutes. Then he discovers that he made a mistake. He restarts play. Then in the 89th minute, he blows again to end the match. And after some time, the players were out of the pitch. He discovers, after having discovered that he had made a mistake, consultations are made and the players are called back into the pitch. But the Tunisians say, we are not coming back. And at the end of the day, Mali rather is given those 3 points. What does that tell about the level of officiating, especially in Africa? And the sad part of it is that the referee who was officiating in that match is from Southern Africa, just from our neighbor Zambia.
I think it just paints us red, especially if such events they do happen. I'm still bewildered, like I said, because I'm still wondering how on earth a person will make such a mistake twice. And as for the Tunisians, I think they did well because you've ended the match. You've ended the match and you are called again, and then the match is ended again. You can't be kept called, being called, because already that on its own kills the entire momentum. You are shown the mistake and you just repeat it. So our officiating, I think it's just have to be looked on. But and again, like I said, it's painting us red, and there are a lot of officials we've got a lot of potential outside there, but now because they'll be coming from us, the Southern Africa, or should I say Africans, so it'll be a bit difficult for them to break the ice. One person can spoil the entire party.
So the referee there, that is Jamie Siqalo from Zambia, making all the headlines, and also the VAR also being implemented in this Africa Cup of Nations. We have seen some decisions. The first one was that one when Bertrand Traore was punished for that foul in the box. We saw VAR intervening and Cameroon being awarded a penalty. Would you say that VAR for you has done justice so far in the matches that we have seen and where it has been called to intervene?
I'm sure, especially if we may talk about the Bertrand Traore penalty. I will say to me it was a penalty as well, because there was conduct and he wasn't going for the ball and all. So I would say up to date, they have managed to at least keep on track, and it's of impact, especially to our football. We know that football has a lot of people who are a bit clever for others, especially when it comes to those mistakes. So I think the VAR is definitely done justice to some matches.
So Brazil, they're saying that that decision that Bertrand Traore was punished for when he fouled the Cameroonian player. It was a penalty and it comes up to the VAR. Then just moving on, this is a special segment where we get to hear the views of the fans, Grazo, the owners of the match, what the owners of the game rather, what they think of the Africa Cup of Nations. I'll just read a couple of messages that we have received. The first one being from VT, all the way from South Africa. It says a great tournament so far, short of goals, yet teams are finding ways to scrape through with 1-0 wins. Then he also says a lack of goals may be showing how the level of attacking has dropped in Africa. Teams seem to struggle with goals and they've ended up depending on penalties to grab all the points. Do you share the same sentiments there with VT?
I think it's all about the tactics which we imply, because most of our coaches they tend to adopt the defensive way of play, and especially in these huge tournaments, they think that grinding a result is all about getting organized defensively, and offensively we've seen less of them.
Quite interesting. So wait to see whether those teams they're going to improve as the tournament goes on. Then we've got a message as well from Gesh. He says Zimbabwe playing surprisingly well against Senegal, a team that was meant to beat us comfortable. And for that I say thank you. Warriors, go Warriors. So a good performance against Senegal, but at the end of the day, no result. Of which for me, I think it's all about goals. Because even if you play well, but if you don't get the 3 points at the end of the day, there is nothing to be happy about in the game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people they will allude that performance and say that it went well. Yes, it went well because we were anticipating a huge margins. Zimbabwe being thrashed, huge margins, especially considering the team on paper for the Senegalese. Like I had said, it was all about the team on paper. So we just allude those results because of the names on paper. But we were taking a less of our side when it comes to our way of play, how we approach that game defensively. Like I said, we did well, but I believe we gave a lot of respect to the Senegalese, because offensively we never had much of an impact.
Indeed. So Zimbabwe showing so much respect for the Senegalese, but going on to lose cruel to the Senegalese in that 95th minute. Then we have also Bafu Vodloza. He says that this year's AFCON is really physical. Big European clubs are watching their players with one eye open like a horror movie, especially Liverpool. I'm sure he's referring to Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah.
Mm.
Obviously, those European teams will be watching this AFCON closely because they don't want their players to come back carrying those injuries. Maybe it could be one of the factors that could attribute to the level of performance from these so-called top players. They don't want to give their all because they know where their where their bread is being battered is where they're playing in Europe.
Possible, yes. Considering that the games in Europe they are still going on, they haven't stopped, and getting again into the first 11 is a bit difficult and tricky, especially when you are coming after you missing a lot of games. So that might be the cause, and again, not shutting out the burnout which I talked about. So if those guys they do overrun this side again, and probably they take this form which they have now in AFCON, they're taking it back to Europe, it won't work for them. But again, I will still go side by side with the burnout, because those guys have been running and running a lot.
Indeed, then I'll just read the last two. This one is from Jenny. It says, my thoughts about AFCON is that all teams seem like they really try to practice and work hard, but ish, let's talk about Cameroon. It's doing wonders. Obviously, Cameroon are showing their intent, winning their first two matches, being led by Vincent Abubakar. Then the last one is from Samandlo Prokit. He says, enough respect, Marasta. AFCON fever did take us to unexpected heights. Now it's drought of goals. Thanks to Cameroon for goals galore. So far, the game has not shown hype as anticipated. When it goes, Tamayas, Shipopos. That's how we enjoy our game. Obviously, with us Africans, Tamayas, Shipopos, we haven't seen much, but that's what the fans are saying. So it's been the second episode of this Siqalo Podcast, where we're looking at the first round fixtures as well as the second round matches as well as results. And Graz on thank you so much for joining us. And we hope that the Warriors are going to go back to the drawing board. That is, if the drawing board is there, and we try and fix those and cover those loopholes. But I think the Warriors are disappointing everyone. And Ndebele, thank you so much for joining us today.
thank you, Mr. Michel.
So this has been the second episode of this Siqalo Podcast. My name is Washington Sibanda, aka Marasta. So until we meet again in the next episode, peace.